obviously we had leads. Somebody had to clean the kitchen every day and make an order. It's really important to have order on board. We want that to be something we had to think about every day and solve every day. And then this, my brilliant friend Ketil, he introduced this concept called a restaurant To Fluer. To Fluer was the name of the circuit navigation. And it was more or less a competition to actually to make the best restaurant experience every day and make sure opportunity. And it was more or less like a no-brainer to come over here and all these keynotes. There was new rules and regulations in Norway saying that everyone born after 1980, they had to take a driving license for boats to be able to drive their boats. And I studied these markets really quick and I saw what kind of courses that were available, and it was really, really bad. So I saw, here's a potential. I need a job. I definitely know how to sail. I've been also working as a boat designer. And I gathered this crew as well to make sure that we kind of even more own this domain. So I had a submarine navigator, professional sailor, and myself as adventurer and a circumnavigator. So we definitely owned that domain. We knew the topic. But we didn't have any classroom, we didn't have any material, and we didn't know where to start. But we just decided to launch and just set a date. And we invited a lot of customers, and we were 150 customers in a huge auditorium. And we were the three of us, and we just started on. We almost didn't have any keynote, and we just started on. And it's 20 to 30 hours curriculum that the customer needs to go through. And obviously we had no pay model for the customers, so we kind of guaranteed them that we will make them pass the exam. And it was about just what we did back then. I realized later it was genius because it was design thinking as it's perfect, because we had all of them in the classroom and we just experienced and we tried stuff with them and we developed the product continuously and we simplified it, and within 6 months we reduced that time by 75%, 20 to 30 hours course. And it was just about simplifying it and using design and communication to make a new curriculum. And we shipped it, we constantly shipped it and pushed it out. And if it didn't work, we just fixed it, and you can do as well, you can fix it. And at the end, when it was going really well, it was just a matter of trimming it and maximizing the profit. And within six months, we reduced it by 75%, and we were by far the largest provider of both certificates in Norway.
This great show ahead. Very good morning, all of you. Good morning. So hi, I'm Satya. I've been with Facebook for about 2 years now. And recently I've been given this additional responsibility of leading platform partnerships for South Asia. And guess what's the first thing I did? I booked a flight to Colombo. No, we are really excited to be here and interact with you all. And today I'm going to talk about some of the products and programs that we have built on the Facebook platform that we believe can help you in building more meaningful products, that can even help you in growing your businesses faster, and thereby connecting this community and giving back to them. The third and one of the most important thing that it brings on the table is that it makes you part of this community of global startups. So you become and you can interact with these startups online through a Facebook group, or you can even interact offline in the various events that we host for FB Starts. To know more about FB Starts, you can go to developer.facebook.com/FBStart, and you can apply there as well. Developer Circle Colombo will get inaugurated today, later in the day. We are also so proud to have 2 leads who will be driving this circle in Colombo. We have Dinu and Tharindu. Tharindu will be joining us soon for the session that we are scheduling later. We have Dinu with us. Hey Dinu, can you stand up and show them? We also have Chinmay who runs the developer circle groups. So feel free to find them later in the day and chat more about it. What we are doing is we are also doing the first inaugural meetup or developer circle today in this event itself. It's a limited set of people, and there is a registration desk outside. So if you want to know more about developer circle and the things that we're going to talk about, just feel free to get yourself registered in the registration desk and join us in the inaugural meetup. So we've grown so much in last 10 years. We've talked about all the stories that we have created, all the impact that we have created in over a decade. But what's more important to us is who we've grown with. That's you guys. You guys have entertained people. You guys made transportation more accessible. You made news available to people in remote areas. You actually empowered your citizens and local communities.
That's why all is set up for the crack sessions. So we will be having the disk track here at O Group 1. The AC will be tracked at O Group 2, and the IVU track at the IV room at the lobby level. In terms of syncing with time, ladies and gentlemen, we will try to finish up and go for the track sessions by 10:30. Thank you.
So this is an introduction to design thinking, and I'm going to hopefully I'll be able to get some of the links going. I'm having a few technical glitches, but we'll cross that bridge. So my name is Rayomal Pereira, and with design thinking, it's actually experiential. So I want to try a couple of experiments here with the audience. And so we'll start off first, just a brief introduction of myself. Sorry the slides are like this, and I've never had this problem before, but as soon as I put it on full screen, with all the developers here, maybe you could have fixed it for me. But anyway, a little bit of an introduction of myself. So I'm an entrepreneur. I've set up two companies, one called Isocore, which we took public on NASDAQ. It was on email, and the second company was on mobile payments, and it was called Valista. We set up an operation here. I don't know, do we have anybody from ex-Valista here? In Sri Lanka, we have about 150 people, but now it was acquired by Intel and then subsequently by Persistent Systems. So I have a background in technology. I have set up technology companies, and now I'm a professor and I teach entrepreneurial studies. You can open it, but don't start anything yet. You can just lay out the Lego pieces on the table, and 6 pieces, and would you just try to create a duck, right? I'm going to give you 1 minute. And that actually, what it says really is that creativity really thrives on very limited resources. So, sometimes we feel you're all able to create a different duck. And hopefully that might give you an idea of what the message I'm trying to get across, right? You don't see things as they really are. And that's the challenge that we have. And what design thinking does is it helps to bring your creative mind and your analytical thinking together, and you bring both of them to solve a very specific problem, okay? And actually, it's both experimental and iterative, right? And it is a process, okay? So, I'm running slightly behind because I started late. If we have time, I'll come back and try this as another exercise. But let's say if you were going to design a children's toothbrush, how would you go about trying to design a children's toothbrush, right? And you would probably do that by really trying to figure out what a child might be looking like without really from your perspective, not from the child's perspective. But really for children, they are not just scaled down versions of ourselves because they have chubby little fingers and have less dexterity. So IDEO, who's one of the design thinking organizations, when they came to design a children's toothbrush, I don't know if you can see it from there, essentially came up with something like this. And the whole idea here is that often when we go to design products, we start to think of what the solution is, looking at it from our context, without sitting down and really trying to understand what is it that the user is really looking for. And we heard examples of that in the earlier with the first keynote, right? He was talking about really sitting in the shoes of somebody and really trying to understand what that user really is looking for. And that's what design thinking is all about. Thank you for listening. And I just have one other, I want to take a photograph because it's a great audience. I'll take a quick photograph and I'll let you go. Great, everybody's so quiet. Gosh, it's like going to church. Anyway, okay, thank you very much, thanks.
Access all that stuff later. But if you want to tweet out this talk, please use this hashtag Prime Interface. How many people here are on Twitter? Yeah? All right, this is my handle, Benjamin Tanner. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. I don't want to breathe too loudly into this. It sounds pretty intense. Okay, so let's get started. Let me talk a little bit about who I am. How many of you are familiar with HCI, or human-computer interaction? There's an ACM group called Computer-Human Interaction. It's basically the same thing. It's how we interact with computers and how we design towards that interaction. So my specialty is really that HCI, but with a focus on motivating interaction. And if it makes it easier, you can call me an entertainment technologist. That's really what I prefer to be called. And I currently work at a company called Hasbro, which is the world's biggest toy company. And I invent smart toys, and I develop patented technical products that allow users to interact with data. And I'll go into more detail about that through this presentation. So it's kind of a coincidence, but I've been working in that field actually since '99 for a company called Red Octane. So Red Octane, their business model was that it was expensive to import video game hardware from Japan to America. So the business model was they'll make the hardware there in the States, and then you get the software and you can just connect the two. So they brought in these dance. If you're not familiar with this game, the way it works is you have this guitar and you feel like you're playing music by strumming it. So that's what it looks like. From that point on, I worked in R&D for a while. So I worked for Sharp Electronics in Japan. I did work for Lockheed Martin as part of their ISGS division. And I worked at this guy's startup. This guy's named Will Wright. He made a game called SimCity and Spore and things like that. Well, I left his startup actually to work at a company called Electronic Arts on SimCity. So this is a game where you kind of get to play out being an architect and a city planner. So you can lay out entire cities, and what was novel about this game, the game that I worked on, was that unlike previous SimCities, all of the cities were connected. So the really novel thing about it was there was a free flow of information between different cities, not just one city. So like, if you polluted a lot, that pollution would carry over to the other city. And then that would cause crime to happen in that city, and then crime would come over to your city. So you have to think about yourself as sort of a regional player. It's not just the Colombo show, okay? You live in a world. After that, I was a software architect for Nexon, making mobile web game architecture. And then I started my second startup called Weaver Labs. And Weaver is a patented technology for rich media messaging. Another product that I worked on was this. So this is a Disney princess you might be familiar with. This is Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And this is a robotic Belle that dances, very high tech. And you, on your smartphone or on your tablet, you can actually teach her how to dance by dragging and dropping these different dance moves. And it actually manages to teach young girls about sequencing and the basics of coding. This one is also up for Toy of the Year right now. So, am I going to talk about toys the entire time? No, what this talk is about, of course, is the Internet of Things. And let's kind of decode that a little bit. You got these two things, right? You've got the Internet and things. All right? And when we say the Internet, we're talking about that ubiquitous data store that all of us use to access our Facebook, things like that. But that's being kind of obfuscated out even further. But I think if we broke that down even further, we've got this concept of physical and digital, right? Things, the Internet, the digital and the physical. And what connects that digital and physical is an interface, right? All of these things are interface. Look at when you're hiring in managers for leadership positions. And he says, I don't care if they're smart. I don't care if they're the most intelligent person in the world. This is the founder, CEO of Amazon, right? What he cares about is them being right. He hires people in leadership because they're right. So they have a track record of doing the right thing, right? Despite how they're accessing information or what information they have access to, they just, through their interactions, have been right. And that quote, my takeaway from that is it's more about their utility than it is about their information. So let's go in the other direction for a second and talk about augmented reality. Augmented reality plays much more into the Internet of Things ecosystem. So looking at this image here, you're going through a tunnel, and maybe all of this information is overlaid over your eyesight. Maybe you're wearing digital eyewear, but these glasses here are putting data, surfacing that data to me. And maybe we can assume something like it's using a GPS to tell me where I am in this tunnel. Probably doesn't work very well in a tunnel, but it knows where I am because I've been traveling for 28 seconds through this tunnel, and it can derive that I've been going at this speed and that I'm there. Or it's using my other data, other sensors here, like an odometer and how much gas I have. Your entire world has been now digitized for my consumption as an American. But you know what? We're private people. We want to get inside the house. So how does Google get inside your house and start digitizing your pets and stuff? Right? This thing, Google Home. They're using Internet of Things to map your entire house and digitize it all. So are we forgetting anybody? Is there another player who just announced that they're entering in the voice assistant space today? Does anybody know? This thing. This lady, this beautiful lady here, is Cortana. This is Microsoft's voice assistant. And they just announced a couple weeks ago that they're also coming out with an Internet of Things piece of hardware dedicated to connecting to the home. Why? Why is Microsoft moving into space now? They want to make Xboxes, kind of, right? They don't really want to make physical products. Can anybody think why they want to do this? Well, it's got to be, right? What about Bing? We just talked about Google. You've got to access Bing. Everybody in this room uses Bing, right? Bing is the most popular search engine in this room, right? No? No. It's not okay.
My name is Henrietta, and that's my story about things that happened today with me. And that'll give you, I thought I should really include a little bit about what my day went like. That's something that we will be touching upon today, about how a story leads to something that happens in the present. So I really wanted to share this thought with you, and that will give you a little bit about, having said explicitly about what I really do, might give you what kind of a person that I am, or what I really, what my day is like. Briefly, I'm Virta, and I work at Chikri currently. We just moved here to Sri Lanka about 5 months ago from India, and it's been a great experience learning about a lot of people and working as a UX researcher, working on different products. Most of them have been banking products, a couple of interesting. These guys have been in the industry for a long time, but Airbnb being relatively new has really grown a lot organically, and that is a stat from 2016, where you see the highest bar is actually Airbnb. Now, even though they make a lot in terms of revenue, people prefer Airbnb, or it's doing more well, much better than the others. Is there are other factors like being at the right place, they having great. All their features and all their trusts revolved around how do we really build trust. So that was the very at the essence of the product. It was not about having nice looking pictures of villas and making it look like it's a fancy hotel or a homestay sort of thing. It was really about you can trust that person. And we all really like that so much now that okay, I'm going to meet some nice people. I'm going to have some guests from a country that I've never been to. And it's really become a lot more than just renting out your places. It's connected people in a lot more ways. Their whole features all their features revolve around how does this build trust between these two parties, or does it not add to that value? And that was a real way they really explored storytelling of this guy, a traveler, likes to live in different places, also connect to cultures. So it's better that I live at a home, but then I don't know if it's going to really be trustworthy. Can I trust that person or can I not? and that's a whole lot of things that they did. How they got here is, this is a model by Simon Sinek. Talks a lot about a lot of things very popular on the internet, and something that I really connect to in the way you narrate your story. About never start with what you're really selling, and then talk about how you're doing that, and then tell them why you're doing that, because you've lost those people by then. Always start with saying, why are you building this? What is it that you really believe in? Then tell them how it is, and then uncover what that product is going to be about. So most of us actually do it the other way around. When you tell them, okay, what is this product about? If you tell them this product is about, you can actually use this and that. But we never really tell them, why is this product even existing? And then talk about how it works and fits into your life. And this is how the product is going to be a part of your life, is the what of that. Okay? Thank you.
What's this? Finally with this helplessness. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down. So I'm gonna turn it all around to know. Oh, and dear God, save my soul, 'cause it is flawed. Tired of feeling like I'm upside down. So I'm gonna turn it all around.
But here I'm going to mainly focus on our cognitive services. So in terms of AI, it's a big push by the CEO, really. Satya wants to democratize AI. He wants this capability to be embedded everywhere. And in the hands of not just data scientists,
I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that I went to a school for the blind, and that's where I was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces. 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised. 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take this. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants. building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
Real quick. So I do have this one repository that I try to keep up to date. So my GitHub, just go back today, I have this thing called Awesome Azure Data Analytics, Advanced Analytics. And it's basically an updated list of general resources on doing analytics on Azure, training material, and then the crash courses on all the different tools and services that are available. So here, if we were to go to say cognitive services here, so yeah, so you get you get different portals, you got labs, you got demos that are available. You can like here the intelligent kiosk. This one's pretty cool. That you can go play around with. Links to tutorials, videos, the whole lot. Okay, and this is across the board, as I mentioned before. For basically anything data and AI related, you can fetch here. Yeah, even box framework down here. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff with the box framework available. Okay. So good. I hope this was helpful. One last thing I forgot. These cognitive services are almost free. Okay, thank you very much.